What if I told you Fortnite became one of the biggest games in the world almost by accident? Because here's the strange part, Fortnite was not originally created as a battle royale game at all. Its original idea was much closer to a cooperative survival game where players gathered resources, built defenses, and fought off monsters. But in 2017, something changed. Epic Games introduced Fortnite Battle Royale, and suddenly, the formula became brutally simple. Drop in, find gear, survive, and be the last player standing. But that still doesn't explain why Fortnite exploded when plenty of other games were competing for attention. The real secret was something other battle royale games didn't have in the same way: building. Imagine you're in a gunfight, you're losing, and instead of simply running for cover, you can create the cover yourself. A wall appears, then a ramp, then a tower. In seconds, the environment can completely change. Intrigued, that turned Fortnite from a normal shooter into something closer to a game of improvisation. You weren't just asking, where is my opponent? You were asking, what can I build right now that changes the fight? And that single mechanic gave Fortnite an identity people could recognize almost instantly. But building alone wasn't enough. Fortnite also made another incredibly important decision. It was free to play. That meant the biggest barrier to trying it wasn't the price of the game. A friend could tell you to download it, you could jump in, and suddenly, you were part of the same experience. Epic also pushed Fortnite toward a cross-platform future, allowing people on different supported devices to play together. That mattered because multiplayer games become much more powerful when the question isn't, does my friend own the same console, but simply, is my friend online? And then came another ingredient. Fortnite wasn't designed to feel finished. It was designed to keep changing. New mechanics, new locations, new items, new creative possibilities, and new experiences could keep the world feeling different. That meant players weren't just buying a game and finishing it. They were returning to a living platform that kept giving them reasons to come back. And that's where Fortnite's story gets much bigger than Battle Royale. The next big secret was social entertainment. Fortnite understood something that many games struggle to understand. Sometimes, people don't log in because they want to win. They log in because their friends are there. Think about that for a second. A traditional game can give you missions, levels, and goals. Fortnite could give you something much harder to replace, a place where your friends could hang out. The Battle Royale match was only one part of the experience. Over time, Fortnite expanded into different types of experiences, including creative tools that allowed players to build their own islands and games. Epic's own documentation describes this evolution from the original Fortnite concept to Battle Royale, and then to player-created experiences. And this changed the relationship between the player and the game. Instead of Epic being the only group creating content, players could become creators too. That creates a powerful loop. More creators make more experiences. More experiences give players more reasons to return. More players attract more creators, and the cycle keeps feeding itself. This is also why Fortnite became much harder to define. Is it a shooter? Yes. Is it a building game? Yes. Is it a social space? In many ways, yes. Is it a platform for user-created games? Increasingly, yes. Epic now describes Fortnite as a broader ecosystem containing first-party experiences and creator-made experiences, and its current ecosystem includes hundreds of thousands of creator-built games and experiences. That's a massive shift from the idea of Fortnite simply being one Battle Royale map. But there was another reason people kept talking about Fortnite: spectacle. Fortnite repeatedly blurred the line between a video game and entertainment event. Players could experience virtual events, unusual collaborations, changing environments, and completely different themes inside the same ecosystem. The result was incredibly important from a cultural standpoint. Fortnite wasn't just something you played. It became something you talked about. And once people start talking about a game outside the game itself, its reach can grow far beyond the players actually holding a controller. But here's the part that might explain Fortnite's longevity better than anything else. Fortnite learned how to reinvent itself without throwing away what people already loved. That's incredibly difficult. If a game changes too much, longtime players can leave. If it changes too little, players get bored. Fortnite has spent years walking directly between those two dangers. The core idea remains easy to understand: land, explore, collect equipment, make decisions, and survive. But around that core, almost everything can evolve. That's why Fortnite can feel familiar and completely different at the same time. And the numbers help explain why the platform still matters. Independent tracking based on Epic's data continues to show Fortnite operating at enormous scale, with millions of players participating across the broader ecosystem at peak periods. The exact number changes constantly, so the important story isn't one particular player count snapshot. It's the fact that the ecosystem continues to attract huge audiences years after its original breakout. That's unusual in gaming. Most games have a life cycle. They launch, explode in popularity, reach a peak, and eventually become less relevant. Fortnite's strategy has been different. Instead of treating the game as a finished product, Epic has treated it more like an evolving service and platform. And that creates one of the most important lessons from Fortnite's success. You don't always need to invent an entirely new product to stay relevant. Sometimes you need to keep reinventing the experience around a strong core idea. Building gave Fortnite its identity. Free access helped remove the barrier to entry. Cross-platform play helped connect friends. Social experiences gave people a reason to stay. Creative tools gave players the ability to make things themselves. And constant change gave the ecosystem a reason to keep moving. Put all of those pieces together, and Fortnite's success suddenly looks less like luck and more like a carefully evolving system. So the next time someone says, Fortnite is just a battle royale game, remember this: Battle Royale may have been the doorway, but it was never the entire house. Fortnite became powerful because it kept adding new rooms, and maybe that's the real reason it refuses to disappear. So here's my question for you. What do you think made Fortnite successful? The building, the Battle Royale gameplay, playing with friends, or the constant updates and new experiences? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, share it with a friend who played Fortnite, and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories behind the biggest games and internet phenomena.